Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So, at the age of 35, Belfast's Anthony Cacace becomes the IBF and IBO super featherweight champion of the world. Fantastic victory over Joe Cordina. Stops him in 8 rounds. Cordina, trapped on the ropes, had taken a slew of punishment throughout that round. Head punches, Cacace couldn't miss him. And this was a very strange, out of sorts Cordina, but a very, very much a man obsessed in Cacace. It was like, at 35, he thought, this is my only chance to win a world title, and I'm going to take it, or I'm going to get carried out feet first trying. Marvellous performance by Cacace. First 2 rounds, not much in it. Maybe Cordina slightly slicker. I don't know. Spin rounds, definitely spin rounds. But in the second round, the reason I gave the second round to Cacace was there was some good body work. And I thought, if he keeps that up, he's got a good chance of this now. Well, in the third round, he managed to land a huge uppercut on Cordina, and Cordina's head snapped back. And then Cacace brought the right hand over, bang on the jaw. Over goes Cordina, splashed all over the canvas, near the ropes. And from then on, although Cordina got up and took a further battering because Cacace chased after him, couldn't get him out of there, was hitting him cleanly, but Cordina, he's got bottle. He's got a lot of guts. Stood up well, hung on, survived the round. And in the fourth, he actually came back, relatively well. I don't know whether he won the round, but he got back on he regained his shape, kind of reset himself, and he was looking all right. And you thought, okay, maybe we're going to, see Cordina sort of edging his way back into it. It's going to be one of those fights where, or perhaps Cacace, having knocked down Cordina, might think, I'll look for one more big punch, and you sort of fall asleep at the wheel, you know what I mean? But Cordina, or rather I should say Cacace, he wasn't having any of that. I mean, in the 5th round, he went straight after Cordina again, and just kept pushing him to the ropes. And Cordina's defense was terrible. I mean, he just couldn't get out of the way of any head punches. And Cacace's engine, at 35, you might think he was slowing down. Not a bit of it at all. He was firing salvos of punches. Like I say, he was like that man possessed, the guy who thought, I'm gonna really give it everything or get carried out on a stretcher. And Cacace, I gave him, I think, was it now the 5th? Yeah, I gave him the 5th, 6th, 7th, yeah. And then he stopped Cordina in the last round. I couldn't really give Cordina any of that. From the 5th, 6th and 7th, I couldn't give him any of those rounds. They were dominated by Cacace. Cordina was not really doing anything. He was almost in survival mode and spent way too much time on the ropes. And when he tried to sort of regain his shape in the centre of the ring, Cacace was just getting the better of him and forcing him back. I mean, the pressure and the physical strength of Cacace was just too much for Cordina. And I don't know, maybe getting knocked down in the 3rd round, he just didn't really recover. But in the first 2 rounds, he did look a little bit out of sorts, whereas Cacace looked really on it, like he was going to give everything. Cordina, it was like, okay, another day at the office, no problem, because Cordina can really fight. Cacace, southpaw, Cordina, orthodox. Cordina's 32, which is not particularly young for a super featherweight, but Cacace's 35, and Cacace fought like a 25-year-old. And it's weird, his career, because he's now 22 wins with only 8 KOs. 1 defeat. That defeat goes back to 2017 when he lost the 12-round decision to Martin J. Ward. And he's sort of trodden water. He's beaten some good guys, got a split decision over Sam Bowen, and he beat Leon Woodstock. But there was I don't think he even fought in 2020. And it's a stop-start career, and it came good. It's that Indian summer. And it shows you, as with Ajit Kabayel, who had many years almost in the wilderness, Cacace has as well. But clearly, he puts it all together. He manages to get all of his get himself mentally prepared as well as physically prepared, get his emotions in check. Maybe with both Kabayel and Cacace, it's a case of maturing. Maybe they just needed to wait for this later stage of their career before they could, really sort of realise their full potential, so to speak. But I do think that it's a fantastic story for the guy from Belfast, 35 years old, and he's a world champ. And it's interesting because Frank Warren promotes him, and he ran over to the ring, leant out of the ring, shook hands with Frank Warren, and of course Frank, as Cordina is a matchroom fighter, you know what Frank's going to say. Oh, it's 1-0 to Queensbury. Before the 5 versus 5, this is a little sort of aperitif, you know what I mean? Yeah, great story, great win for Cacace. Well done to Cacace. Cordina, he'll have to go away and reflect on this. It wasn't not a good performance, and he just didn't look at the race. He didn't look like he necessarily really wanted to be there. There was no urgency. There was no motivation. That's what it seemed. Anyway, maybe he was unwell. I don't know. Anyway, comments below. What do you think? What do you think of this fight? Let me know. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. They count the likes. I don't know why, but they do. And if you support the channel, you got my respect. I tell you what, I hope you enjoy these videos. I love making them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And I'll catch you later for the big one. Bye for now.